Hello, welcome to episode 12, I suppose, or whatever it is. I must stop even saying that. So today I wanted to talk about uh, something that feels very true to me. I'm still really trying to work these things out for myself, so bear with me. But I want to say that I was reading a book uh, that someone recommended to me, and they recommended I just flip in to a particular page. So I did that. And one of the things um, that when I did that, really the main thing was, what do you want? That was the thing that I pulled out of that or took out of that, um, and the answer that very clear is I want peace. Um, I feel like in some ways I've been on an emotional roller coaster, not on the outside, but on the inside. I've been on an emotional roller coaster my entire life, and just with struggling with life. That something happens out there. I have feelings in here. I didn't know what to do with them. So then I've got these feelings that I can't quite go away. Of course, then years passed and I work through some of that and I become a psychotherapist and I have tools, but um, it still has felt like a struggle. Um, that it's just a lot of work. One doesn't always have time to do all the tools. Um, so I've been looking for something easier, and I think this Lester's process of releasing is the right way for me personally. And really, kind of adding in the other pieces that I'm adding in, like Michael Singer and what he had to say that's so similar. Um, but I want to come back to Lester said something, freedom has to be more important. You have to want freedom more than you want the world. And that does make sense to me. And I'm finding that easier said than done, as is always true with these things. And so I'm really working on developing my own clarity. What I'm aware of right now is I want peace. I want that so much that I don't care about anything else. I don't care what else is going on. That whatever's going on out there, I just feel that very firmly in my heart and in my mind right now. And what I also feel is I can be in the driver's seat of my peace, um, because if I take the time to pause whatever's going on out there and I come back to myself and I work with myself, to figure out what am I feeling, make space for that, kind of the rain piece, give some love to that part of myself, get clear what the want is, which is the Lester piece. Notice the somatic charge, that's rain as well as Michael Singer. Um, and I really open that space up, and then I figure out, all right, what is it here that I have to release to find peace? I think if I do that regularly, if I can really hone that process for myself and I take the time to do it, it feels like right there. And then it doesn't matter what's going on out there. It doesn't matter what's going on with the stock market. It doesn't matter what's going on with my husband. It doesn't matter. It's like nothing else matters, which is, has, I mean, Lester would say, yeah, that's it. And sitting here where I'm sitting, it's like, oh, it feels like that's so powerful. It's what Byron Katie talks about. It's what so many spiritual people talk about. And I feel like I'm really onto something in terms of how do I embody that for myself? Because I'm so clear that trying to control things, trying to make things out there be the way I want them so I can feel good in here, I'm just so very clear that that is not working for me. And that I want to let that go. Um, so what I was aware of this morning as I was listening to, I did a meditation and I was listening to Adyashanti, who's another kind of one of my influences. I just got really clear that peace is here. if I don't get tight into the distress of X, whatever X might be in that moment, that peace is absolutely here. And that wanting reality to be a certain way is what disturbs that peace that's already here. And that even the idea that there could be peace, even, like this tight little thing that I'm struggling with, if I can stretch out into, it's felt like a rubber band. If I can stretch out into a broader awareness, it's like, well, yeah, there's that thing that's right there in my chest or in my gut or wherever, in my shoulders, in my face, because I'm mad. I can, when I can back out, I can see a bigger picture. And then, of course, the rubber band contracts, as is its habit, and I end up in the little ball. And my sense right now is like, I just, like, if I keep working that, each time, I think it could get a little better. And especially if I come to these videos as support for myself, I think that it could be so powerful. So what I want this particular meditation to be about is really remembering that peace is already here, and that wanting reality to be a certain way is what disturbs the peace. Peace is here, and it's just my mind, and the associated reactivity in my body that just, it's like if you had a still pond, and then the reactivity is like I turn a fan on, and then I wonder why my pond is all ripply, and the fan is inside of me, like that wind blowing is inside of me. If I can turn the fan off, the water will return to its beautiful, calm state. And that might take some time, and that might take some effort. But it will go there because it always does. Like I can see that as I've been watching, I can see that cycle within myself. So my advice is to focus on right now. Right now is all that is, and really allow that to be present, and to really add in a piece of don't know mind for tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. If it's with my husband, if I take a break and I'm pissed or, it's like if I can step away, which is my goal, and to take a moment to regulate myself when I feel like there's something going on that doesn't feel good. Um, whether I'm doing something that I know is harmful, or whether he's doing something that feels harmful to me. Either way, I want to really take a break and just regulate. And then I don't know what's going to happen next because it's spontaneous. Um, and he might shift and he might not shift. And hopefully I can shift. And if I do shift, fantastic. Then it doesn't matter if he shifts. And it might mean that we're not close and connected, but I can tolerate that. That's actually so preferable to being in locked torrents. So um yeah, so, and I think remembering that like it's so much more pleasant to just take a moment. And I figured out how to find that place where I'm taking a moment, and it doesn't have kind of awkwardness that historically taking a moment was like an angry taking a moment or an awkward taking a moment. And I found a more peaceful taking a moment place for myself. Um, and just recognizing that in those moments, I need to totally let go of control, of trying to get it to be the way I want it. That is actually what is creating the problem, because that's what drives me into anger. That's what drives him into anxiousness, and both of us into a protectiveness where we're protecting our interests rather than being loving, being kind. Um, so yeah, I'm seeing that in my larger life, where I'm able to drop, and like finances, I'm able to drop and not worry about things, um, so much more so than I used to be able to. And then it unfolds the way it unfolds, and I'm not kind of grasping and trying to hold on to it and unfolding in a certain way, which would absolutely disturb my peace. Um, if I had held on. So I'm realizing that I'm I'm helping myself. So it's kind of cool to reflect and see that progress. So, with that said, I am going to do a short meditation now. It'll probably be, I don't know, 10 minutes ish, plus or minus five. And we'll go from there. All right. Okay. So I'm going to pause my recording. And I want you to just take a deep breath in and let it out. And let it in and let it out. And I want you to pause right here and just notice what's here. Notice what is going on for you, what the contraction is, what the pain is, or the sadness. And if you're good right here, if you want to, pulling in something that you have some resistance towards, some contraction around. And just taking a moment to really just welcome that as best you can, particularly focusing on the body. And just taking a moment to notice that you're surviving this moment. You're tolerating this moment. Michael Singer would say, kind of opening your heart to this moment, allowing it to be there. It's there already. And you just allow it. Allowing the snarl to be there. Maybe there are some thoughts. I don't know if this is Terry Reel's term, if it has to do with your spouse, like for me. Just allowing the angry marital hatred to be there. And in my case, my husband and I have coined that there's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's like, for me, it's remembering I am mad at Mr. Hyde, not at Jim, not at the whole human being, because there are so many ways that he can be really kind and considerate, and I have no doubt that he loves me. But when Mr. Hyde shows up, oh, do I get tight around that? And so allowing that to be right now, allowing that snarl to be there. And then just taking a moment to notice that's not all that's there. In your body, you might notice that your feet feel fine. Maybe the top of your head feels fine. If you take a moment to notice, maybe you can hear sounds, maybe there are birds chirping, dogs snoring, something other than this contraction. If you want to, opening your eyes and noticing that there are things you can see right now that aren't your spouse, that aren't distressive. Just noticing and kind of opening your focus to something greater. And taking a breath here with that awareness. And taking a moment to clarify what's the want that I want here. For me, it's I want to be seen and I want to be heard. I want to be validated. And again, pulling in Lester's work, is this want about control or safety or approval or love. They all come back to survival. And you can pause this recording if you're not clear. once you get that want clear, or maybe the several wants clear, I want you to take a moment to notice that the wanting of that isn't the having of that. That tight clinging doesn't get you whatever it is you want. And actually, oftentimes, it stands in the way of what you want, of noticing what you want. When I'm anxiously attached to my finances and things going a certain way, I miss the fact, and that being connected into safety, I miss the fact that I'm already safe right now. When I want my husband to be a certain way, respond to me in a certain way, I behave in a way that actually prevents him from ever doing that. So our wants really get in the way of so much. They get in the way of our present peace. They get in the way of creative thinking. They get in the way of adult adaptive behavior with our partners. Wants are so tricky, and they are not the having. They oftentimes get in the way of having. And so now taking a moment to notice the emotion that's there and the want that's there that's driving that emotion. And that need, kind of that sense of I need the world to be different, for me to be at peace, for me to be at safe, for me to feel safe, for me to feel okay. And just seeing if you can for right now, asking yourself, could I let go of some of this? If the answer is no, that's fine. Just holding that, just allowing that stuckness. If the answer is yes, then asking, would I let go of some of this? And if the answer to that is yes, when? And just sitting with that for a moment. If you're stuck, you might want to go back to the beginning of this meditation and just allowing that stuckness to be there, working with the stuckness. Feeling the stuckness and the contraction around the stuckness. And if you're not stuck, going back to whatever you're working with and just noticing what's fresh there now. Noticing the emotion that's there. Noticing the want that's there. It might have shifted. It might be on the same topic. It might be on a different but related topic. And again, taking that moment to really be friendly with what's here, the feelings that are here, the contraction that's here. And just taking that moment again to create some space around it. To notice that contraction isn't all that is, it's just where your attention has gone into this really narrow space. And just noticing my feet are okay. There's sounds going on around me. There's other sensations in my body that are really okay. And just noticing as you get a little bit of space around that contraction, notice that as you create that space, you create like a measure of peace. when you can see you're not the contraction. And you can see that's just an automatic response that's going on in your body mind. And again, just clarifying that contraction. What does that contraction want? Maybe separating that instead of what do I want? What does my contraction want? What does this tender part of me want? And taking a moment, I don't remember if I did this before, but just giving some empathy to that part that's tight and wounded and wanting. And just being tender with it. And remembering it's not everything. It's not all of you. It's temporary. As these things usually are. It's a storm that will pass through eventually, and you will get back to sunnier skies. And with that, asking yourself, could I just for now let go of some of this? Would I just for now let go of some of this? If so, when? And taking a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if for some reason you're still feeling stuck, you can always go back to the beginning. But if you're not, that's fabulous. Hopefully you got something out of it. I'm hoping future me gets something out of it. The title just came. It's like pieces right around the corner. And you can't see around a corner. So it doesn't look like it. It might not look like it. But I think for me, it could very much be pieces right around the corner. I can let go of Mr. Hyde, needing Mr. Hyde to be different. And if I can see that moment in my marriage where I'm with Mr. Hyde, that is not the whole of my marriage. Yeah. So pieces right around the corner. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Hope this was helpful. It was for me.